The common assumption that people have is that cars have always been here and roads have always been built for cars. You know, it's not too hard to really look back and realize, of course, roads were here long before cars were. But of course, they have become the dominant method of transportation in most cities around the world. If you look back through history, more so after World War II, there was, of course, far more attention given to designing cities around the automobile. Cars have obviously been presented as the answer to almost every solution within transportation. I think media and advertising has told us that, you know, cars represent freedom and your freedom of movement. And maybe at one time they did, and maybe in some parts of the world they still do. I think it's obvious if you look around a city like Toronto or other major North American cities that probably the opposite is true, is our car dependency has really limited many people in how they can actually move efficiently or effectively around the city. Our cities have become so focused on designing roads to maximize the speed with which automobiles can travel that perhaps, well, not perhaps, that definitely people who use bikes have maybe been left out of the conversation a bit too long. My name is Dave Edwards. I'm the Director of Operations for Nearby Hyperlocal Logistics. Nearby does all sorts of different types of deliveries, whether it be business to business, so bringing inventory from one location to another for a business, or fulfilling online orders for independent retailers. There are lots of different delivery companies and different models in a city like Toronto. I think we matter for many different reasons. I think number one, we happen to do it by using electric cargo bikes. We are an emission-free delivery company. Using an electric cargo bike is a very efficient way to move about this city. So we matter because our customers need a cost-effective and efficient way to move their products around the city, and we can provide that. I think secondary to that, we matter because we're showing what's possible in the city with a bicycle. We're showing people that this can work 12 months a year, and we're showing people that not only is it green, but it's actually a better delivery solution in an urban center. We have all sorts of advantages over a vehicle, especially in a center like Toronto. We're able to quietly and safely pull right up front in front of a storefront or in front of somebody's home. We don't have to worry about parking. We're not pulling two wheels up on your sidewalk. We're not getting in the way of anybody. We simply roll up, open up the bike, take our parcel out, make the delivery, and off we go. So it's a very efficient way to move at our final destination. We're constantly flying by other delivery vehicles that are stuck in traffic, and really we're just showing, you know, once you see it, it clicks for people that there's no better way to move about a city than on a bicycle. So Nearby definitely looked at a lot of different models for what would get us started. Through our Greenway, we were introduced to the Babo trike. We had the opportunity to ride it and just immediately fell in love with many of the features of it. So the stability is probably the one that stands out to most people as soon as you get on it, right? This is a very large bike, but having three wheels and not having to worry as much about your balance or being able to hold a weight up when you get your feet down was a huge advantage. The volume that it can carry is massive. Spec-wise, you're carrying, I think it's an 825 liter capacity inside of the box, which is just massive. And once you open it up and you see how big it is, like you could fit multiple adults in there. But what do we actually carry in here? It's whatever somebody needs delivered. So some examples would be coffee. We do a whole bunch of home delivery and business to business delivery of coffee. We deliver bicycle parts for bike stores such as Curbside Cycle. One of our customers is a non-alcoholic beer producer, Harmon's. We actually are carrying carrying non-alcoholic beer around in this bike. We also do home deliveries for the Duff and Grove Organic Food Market. We're carrying all sorts of different Brussels sprouts and pumpkins and seasonal farmers products around the city for home delivery. But really, I mean, we can carry whatever you need us to carry. We're not Uber, we're not a messenger service, we're a van replacement. So if you can fit it in the back of an SUV or in a van, chances are we can fit it in one of our bikes. So riding these bikes in the winter, I mean, even myself in my personal life, I'm a 12-month-a-year cyclist, but I wouldn't say I had my doubts, but I was interested to see how we would perform in our first winter. This past winter was our first winter as a company. We put a lot of effort into preparing ourselves, both mentally, but also the bikes, and making sure that they were outfitted properly with winter tires to make them suitable for winter. I would say if you're a cyclist in Toronto, well, if you're anybody in Toronto, you know that this winter was maybe a little bit harder than normal. We did have a lot of snow, and I'm very proud to say that we made it successfully through this winter. There was only one day where we didn't have our bikes out on the road, which was the day that we received, I think it's 55 centimeters of snow overnight, but we were right back out the next day. And the Babos are the bikes that we took out as soon as we could to see what they could do in the winter. So winter maintenance, yeah, that was a bit of a learning experience for us. In our previous depot, we didn't have access to a hose or anything like that, but we know it's important to wash the muck and the salt and the grime off of these bikes. So we stumbled into using a lawn sprayer to wash our bikes down after every shift. So I gotta tell you, it was tough going out there sometimes when it is minus 15, minus 20, and your rider comes in from the end of the shift and it might be getting a bit dark out and we're out hosing the bikes off in the courtyard. But we did have to stay on top of things like that. And then we are very lucky to have good relationships with different mechanics and bike shops who kept us in good shape throughout the winter.
So we used to do our deliveries in-house. Prior to about a year ago, all of the deliveries were being done by one of my staff members in a car. Then about a year ago, I started doing any of the local deliveries that I could by cargo bike myself, but that took up a lot of my time. Partnering with NRBI, I was able to free up my spare time and also transition all of our deliveries over to being carbon neutral. So that was a big selling point for me. Our main things that we deliver are pet foods and medication. Oftentimes we'll have a couple of 100 pounds of dog food going out, as well as some medications.
I'm Yanis Banks. I'm the owner of Fruitful Market. It was really a combination of actually like how easy it was to work with NRBI. The rates are very good, and the fact that it's all by bike, we love that, as it really ties into also our sustainability and our aspirations to be a more sustainable business.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Wheeler, and we are here at Bespoke Butchers in Leslieville. We're the hub for our company. We have 3 other locations: St. Lawrence Market, up at Danforth, and then even all the way out at Madison. We move everything from our meats and cheeses to our retail products, crackers, chips, everything. Before NRBI, we were using a van system, which can be convenient because you can do a lot at once, but again, it was a lot slower traffic. It kind of hindered us in that way. We couldn't be as quick as possible because we're moving from shop to shop. It's not so much for delivery service of our product, more getting product to shops before we open in the morning. So it was a little slow, but now that we have NRBI, it's moving much quicker.
I think until you see what can actually be done with a cargo bike, or specifically an electric cargo bike, it's really hard to grasp the full potential. So I think what we're doing is really going to open up a lot of eyes in this city. If you look around, you can definitely see a proliferation of cargo bike use amongst families, for sure. Even just a couple of years ago, I would very rarely see or it would be a very special occasion to see somebody rolling down the street in a cargo bike. And honestly, thanks to shops like Curbside Cycle, we've seen a huge uptick in the personal use of cargo bikes. But I think it's important to have businesses like us around too, showing people that this isn't just for recreation and this just isn't for personal use. This is a viable business solution. The best way to move a package from one point to another in a city like Toronto with the massive amount of congestion that we see from vehicles is to move it by bicycle.
Yeah, and one more bike is one less car.
Oh, one less car. I love it. Yeah.